Welcome to the WJBM Outdoor Show, brought to you by Midwest Tractor Sales in Jerseyville. We're coming to you from the WJBM studios in Jerseyville, the voice of the Tri-Counties. I'm Aaron Quillan. I operate Monarch Rivers, where the mission is simple: kill big deer. And I also help buyers and sellers as a broker at Land and Home Real Estate. The young man sitting across from me today, just beaming with excitement, Mr. Ethan Sharp. Ethan, thank you for being here.
Yeah, of course.
So Ethan is a Michigan man. He is, he's been down to Illinois hunting. Last year was his first year. And I know Ethan very close with his uncle. I don't know if either one of us want to admit it, but, you know, he is a pretty great guy. And knows a lot about deer hunting. And so I'm really excited to learn a lot more about, you know, your background, Ethan, and kind of how you ended up here in Illinois and all the fun stuff that goes along with it. You game?
Yeah,
All
absolutely.
right, man. All right, Ricky Bobby, if you don't know what to do with your hands, just got to keep them down a little bit. All right, so Ethan, Derek is your uncle. You know, did hunting start with him? Where did hunting kind of start out for you?
It was kind of a middle ground, something I always wanted to do growing up.
Okay.
And then, you know, slowly started getting into it. But I think Derek helped drag me into it a lot. So,
all right.
Yeah.
Okay. So with when did you start hunting? Of any species?
Well, I started hunting as a kid, you know,
Okay.
early teenage years. And then, you know,
Okay.
I hadn't gotten a deer till basically last year. And
So that was your first?
first buck.
Okay.
I had shot a doe, but
In Michigan?
Yeah,
Okay.
shot a doe, but I didn't really count that one, so it was with a gun, and I prefer the bow hunting.
I understand, but we're all hunting is still hunting. So, you know, it's all great.
Yep.
It's all great. But the bow hunting, yeah, tends to a lot of times it feels special. So where do you hunt in Michigan?
So my parents have 10 acres, but it's just small little property, and you know, I never see deer, never see much of anything. So it's quite a vast difference down here. You know?
Yeah. So a lot of time with your thoughts.
Yeah, a lot of time with your thoughts.
Okay. And then do you, you know, you hunting out of a blind, tree stand? How do you?
Just tree stand, hang on tree stands or a climber and go in on one of my trees that I have in the woods there. But
Okay.
just, yeah, that's super thick, swampy woods that the deer don't like,
Okay.
apparently.
Now, with the swampy up there, it's a little bit different than down here. I only see, you know, kind of the swamps up there against the river, you know, kind of river bottom ground where you got standing water and stuff like that. Now, in Michigan, there's lakes everywhere. So then there's water everywhere. And then there's standing water. And depending on how much rain and how deep the water is, you know, how would you describe kind of the swamp where you're hunting?
So it's more of like a bog, like boggier swamp. So like it's sort of wetland all over.
Okay. So like cattails growing up, stuff like that.
Cattails, and you know, you step in the wrong spot, you're sinking in mud.
Oh, and that mud stinks so bad.
It always does.
Oh, it smells so terrible. So as a kid, you said it's your teenage years, like middle teens.
Mm-hmm.
You get out there hunting. Who got you set up? How did you kind of know what to do? And
in today's day and age, it's just research and looking up what to do and failing a lot, and you know, asking for Christmas for a bow and buying a tree stand with my own money and all that stuff, and setting it up and just getting started.
All right.
A lack of success, and eventually you find it.
Yeah. Hunting is failing forward.
Yeah.
90% of the time. Because I mean, when you go out bow hunting, it's not like you come home every day with a deer.
No, that's definitely not.
And,
That's definitely not the answer.
But yeah.
It's a good challenge, I think, and it keeps you humble.
Yeah, for sure. So when did Derek kind of step in with you?
So after I graduated high school, I had moved to Colorado and worked for a while, and moved back home I was looking for a job, and I started working with Derek.
Okay.
And working with Derek, he's talking about hunting all the time because that's all he thinks about.
Okay. Yeah.
And I started getting eager and asking about Illinois, and eventually Illinois came into the situation. And
okay.
So.
And he's had a lot of success hunting.
Yeah, he's pretty successful.
Yeah. Yeah. And so anybody listening, this Uncle Derek we're talking about, Ethan's Uncle Derek, 25 years ago, I was 21 years old. Okay. Derek was 22. We came down here to Calhoun County hunting together. I guess Derek had been guiding down here a couple of years, and he's the one that brought me here hunting. And the stories I could tell you about that guy, which we won't. We're going to leave it to hunting. But, from a mentorship perspective, you can't go wrong.
There's not a better guy to teach you about hunting.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
He's tried it all. So,
yeah. And then I'd imagine he's probably pretty good to work for too.
He's a great guy.
Yeah.
Nothing but good things to say.
Yeah. And so you guys are at work, it's construction, building docks, decks.
Yep.
Seawalls.
Seawalls occasionally.
Yep.
Staircases, anything wet, we're sort of in the water.
Okay.
But
what are you calling that company these days?
Driesinga Builders.
Okay. Yep. All right. I like it.
Rockford, Michigan.
Okay. So was there anything that you had to learn before you were brought down here? Was there any tests that you had to, Uncle D had to put you through to make sure you were ready?
No, I don't think so. I think that he saw the effort I was putting in at home to get a deer, and the fact that I wasn't getting one, and he really wanted to help out and give me a shot to get a good one. And it went successfully, I think so.
Okay. All right. And then how did he kind of prepare you for coming down here? Because it's way different than Michigan. I mean, size of track that you guys were hunting on last year's, 100 times the size of the track that you're hunting at back home. So is there anything that he kind of talked to you about before?
Well, he kind of prefaced what the land was like and, how different it was. And, because you go home to Michigan and it's pretty flat. And,
right.
then you get into Calhoun and you're like, you can't find a flat spot.
Right. It's all up and down. Steep. And okay, so I guess he probably warned you about the hills.
The hills, the ticks, the chiggers, all the all the good stuff that rolls with the big bucks.
Oh man. And then so when you were preparing to come down here to go hunting for the first time, which was last year, October?
Yeah.
Okay. What did you do to kind of prepare yourself?
Well, I just shot my bow a lot, but
okay.
I kind of got in the mental spot to, think like I'm going to see and have a chance to shoot a big deer and, kind of work my head through that, wrap my head around it, because if I didn't, I'd be freaking out in the tree stand.
Right.
Which I was anyways, but
yeah,
that's how it goes.
Right. And then with regard to, when you're getting ready to come down, were there any special instructions like buy a Sitka hat? I mean, Derek is. He's reaching for pro staff out there.
I mean, there's nothing like going to Shields on the way down. So,
he didn't buy you a Sitka hat.
No, I bought this myself.
Oh man. All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. Welcome back to the WJBM Outdoor Show, brought to you by Midwest Tractor Sales in Jerseyville. We're coming to you from the WJBM studios in Jerseyville, the voice of the Tri-Counties. I'm Aaron Quillan. I operate Monarch Rivers, where the mission is simple: kill big deer. And I also help out buyers and sellers as a broker with land and home real estate. For those of you just joining, Ethan Sharp. Last year was Ethan's first time hunting in Illinois. Kind of spent some time talking a little bit about who Ethan is and how he got down here to Illinois with his uncle Derek. And Derek's a very close personal friend of mine. Now, Ethan, last year you came down for your first time. And what was it like when you got to Illinois and got to Calhoun County? And did you arrive in the dark or in the daylight?
I think we got in and it was dark and it was still thick and hot out. So It was still Calhoun and at its roots.
Yes. Ticky,
hot.
Bugs.
Mosquitoes. You're sweating.
Yeah. Gnats.
But
when was it in October?
I believe it was the second week of October.
Okay.
It was still warm out, so it was 70s or 80s.
Yeah.
You're not going outside and feeling cold.
Right. And was it leading up to youth season?
I think it was the weekend of the youth hunt is when I shot my deer.
Okay. So I think was it the night before, or I feel like you guys got down a little bit early right before the youth season.
I think I shot my deer on a Saturday, so it would have been right in the middle of it.
Been during the youth season.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you would know. Your memory is going to be better than mine on this topic.
Might be.
Yeah. So was it did you go out in the morning?
I did go out in the morning, and then there was not a lot going on in the morning.
Okay.
I was out. I heard a deer blow from behind me, but never saw anything, and went in towards noon.
Okay. What with that morning hunt? What type of setup was it? Were you back in the woods? Were you on a field edge?
Just in the woods, sort of on a hilltop.
Okay.
On a ladder stand, just had a little opening and probably 40 yards in front of me. It's foggy in the morning.
Yeah. I love that fog.
I was nervous. My rangefinder wasn't working. I didn't know any of my ranges if a deer walked out, but it panned out that I didn't need to know. So.
Yeah. And then, so you said you came in, probably chilled for a little while.
Yeah. Came in, cooled down because it was hot.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Sweating all day. Probably showered again.
Okay.
Got ready to go back out at 5 or so p.m.
Okay.
And
all right. And then you set a different spot.
Set a different spot.
Okay. What was the intel leading up to that? Why did you end up in a different place?
We had a spot that was covered in scrapes, just scrapes around a tree, constant, and the buck sign was off the walls.
Okay.
You were looking in there, you're like, oh yeah, there's going to be deer going through here.
Okay. Do you have a name for that spot?
The buck hole.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's got to be exciting going in.
Yeah, it's an exciting place to go.
Yeah.
Especially early season, I think.
Yeah. And then, all right. So what was that first evening like for you?
It started off a little slow and started slowly ramping up. Had some does walk out and walk off and walk back on. 3 does walking around, and
Okay. Were they feeding?
They're feeding, kind of walking around, messing with each other.
All right.
I think it was a mama and 2 yearlings.
Okay. What were they eating?
Just grass, maybe clover.
All right. So was this like a food plot in the woods?
I don't know that it was planted with anything, but
okay.
If it was, it wasn't very green.
Okay.
At the time.
Fair enough.
And then as the night trickled on, I had a young 2.5-year-old buck come running through and chase off 2 of the does. He just kind of strutted through, sniffed, and chased him off.
Okay.
Went with him.
Go ahead.
You keep going. Oh.
How did that 2.5 compare to some of the bucks you've seen while hunting, say, in Michigan?
It was very similar to a lot of Michigan bucks,
Okay.
The same about 2.5-year-old bucks that you'd see in Michigan, or maybe it was a little bit bigger, but I hadn't seen bucks in a tree stand really, so I was all geeked to see one. And I was like, this is sweet. It's going to boil down and be cool. So.
All right. So then what did he do, the 2.5?
2.5 ran off. I wanted to be patient and really see what would come out. It was the start of my weekend still, so I wasn't super pressed on killing anything.
Right.
And being patient, have my buck that I ended up shooting walk out.
Okay. So he came next after the 2.5?
Yeah, he came probably 10 or 15 minutes after the 2.5 ran off.
Okay.
And, he walked out to my right, and he wasn't 10, 15 yards away from me when he walked out, and I didn't have a shot at the time. And I looked at him, and I was like, that's the biggest deer I've ever seen. That's a cow.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he was like glowing and big, and I was like, oh my God, I don't even know what to do with that thing.
Okay.
So.
How long was he in front of you?
He was in front of me 5 or 10 minutes, He sat there to the right and looked at me, and then, went back and started working scrapes on the tree.
Okay.
And, the tree's kind of in front of me just in front to the right, just hardly. And he was working his way around the tree, scraping. And then as he was working around, I was ready to shoot and was stood up, ready to shoot. And then shot him. I thought my shot was a little far back, and I got nervous right off the bat. And then I watched him fall after he ran about 10 yards.
Really?
So it was very exciting to see him fall.
So he expired right there.
Yep,
right in front of you.
Expired right in front of me.
That's amazing. Okay, and then what happened?
So he falls, and I'm kind of freaking out, going, oh my gosh. And then one of the does that was wandering there before, within a minute or two, runs back into the field right at 20 yards, and I knock an arrow, stop her, and shoot her, and she runs. And she ran a little bit further than the buck. but I heard her fall, so I wasn't worried about it.
Okay.
And then I had to, try to calm myself down. I had to get out of the tree. I was too excited. I was scared I was going to fall out.
I bet. Out of tags. Filled the tags.
Had no reason to be in the tree stand anymore.
Your first day in Illinois.
First day.
The biggest buck you've ever seen.
Biggest buck I've ever seen to this day.
And I mean, this isn't your ordinary, out-of-state guy comes to Illinois and sees an average buck and says, that's the biggest buck I've ever seen. That thing's a monster.
It's a monster.
It's a monster. What? So I'm sure it's been scored.
Well, it's been scored, and so when I saw it, I didn't see the rack. I saw the rack, but I didn't know how big it was. I saw it and I was like, oh, okay, that's a big buck. And then I saw his body. And I was like, oh my gosh, his body's he looks like a cow.
Yes.
He's a huge, mature Illinois deer that just, 200 plus pound field dressed deer. And you're like, wow, that's something.
Yeah.
And I had gotten out of the tree And then I ended up walking over to him, and the walk over to him was the most exciting part because I looked and I was like, oh my God, that's not just any little 8-point. That's, that's a 150-inch deer.
Yeah.
Which he ended up scoring 149 and 7/8.
That's awesome.
So it's a 150 in my book.
You beat me by 10 inches on my first Illinois deer. Mine was like 140-inch 10. The beams on that thing are...
I think he had 22-inch main beams.
Yes.
And 20-inch spread. He palmated.
Yeah.
Big mature deer.
Yeah. Unreal. So this thing's in front of you for, you said, what, like 10 minutes?
5 or 10 minutes. I'm not exact on the time. I was excited.
Yeah. How'd you keep your composure?
I just kind of trying to breathe. I think part of me not seeing the rack helped, or not really knowing what the rack was at the time helped.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, that's not a Pope and Young or an insane deer. And he was, but I just didn't know it yet.
Right.
So I think that helped, and, just breathing through it and trying to tell yourself to calm down, and like, you got to be serious here for a minute.
Okay.
Get serious and kill this deer.
Okay. And then it sounds like, I don't know for sure, but you were seated when he came in.
I was seated on the tree when he came in, and, I waited till he sort of turned around.
Okay.
And I had a good chance to, stand up. My bow was in hand, but, I had to stand up.
Okay.
Get ready.
All right.
So I just waited for the right time. He passed behind a tree, was behind the tree, walking away sort of towards the scrapes. And I stood up when I deemed right.
Okay. So how did you prepare yourself to know how to do that? It doesn't sound like it was dumb luck.
That was trial and error. I wouldn't say I haven't spooked deer off in my life hunting in Michigan, but
okay,
I have.
Right.
So
yeah, everybody has.
So just trial and error, and playing the wind, going off Uncle Derek's tips and everything like that.
All right, you got any decent ones you want to share? Kind of helped you through that hunt?
I don't know.
I'm with you there. So you got both of these deer down.
Mm-hmm.
You got your buck tag filled. You got your antlerless tag filled. What do you do now? You get down out of the stand. Did you go over the buck? Did you send the text? Did you let your bow down? Walk me through that.
I think the first thing I did was walk over to the buck. Walk over to the buck, look at him, and I'm like, okay, this is a crazy deer that I never expected. And then as it was getting darker, I texted Derek, because Derek was with me. I texted him, both tags filled, period.
What kind of reaction did you get there?
Well, so the fun part about the buck hole where I was hunting is the service is insanely spotty. You can maybe send a text, but you might not get one, or it might not go through on the next one. So I never heard anything back from Derek. And I was like, oh, well, he'll get it eventually. So I kind of waited there for a while, just still freaking out. And I texted my girlfriend, and, ended up calling her, and she was freaking out. So that was exciting.
Yeah.
And ended up driving back to camp, and nobody was there. So I drove back to my deer. I just sat there and looked at it for a while. And then didn't ever go check on the doe because I wasn't worried about it. I was worried about the big buck.
Right.
And then, eventually I got a hold of Derek, and he called, and he came over.
Okay.
And he was with Jacob, his second youngest boy, doing the youth hunt. And they both came, and they were like, whoa, look at that deer.
Yeah.
So freaking out, excited for me, which was awesome. Then we tracked the doe, which, when she went 60 or so yards and fell in a creek bed.
Okay.
It was like a bloody murder trail through there.
Yeah. Where'd you hit her?
Probably double lung, but expandable broadhead, and it was just blood everywhere.
Okay. Now, you just killed basically your first buck. You killed a monster buck.
First buck in general.
Right. With a bow.
Yep.
Day one in Illinois. Like, what does that feel like?
It's insane. I mean, I'm grateful for sure,
Yeah.
It's not by chance, but at the same time it's by chance.
Right.
So, I mean, I know there's some luck involved, and that it doesn't go that way every time. I have heard it plenty from Derek that he's set many of times and not seen anything, or had some hard hunts.
Yeah.
Hard years hunting. I mean, this past season he was back in Illinois for almost a month, if not a month, chasing deer, and didn't have success till the very end.
Right.
And so, I mean, I'm grateful for sure for being able to hunt and everything.
Yeah. What did you learn from that hunting experience? Did anything kind of register as to, make sense or click that you didn't quite previously, see, if you will, in the woods?
I mean, sort of how they travel, and, I had seen, I don't know if it was my buck or a different buck, but I had seen something in the woods beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
I'd seen its butt. I didn't see antlers. I didn't see much. I saw a big deer butt, and I was like, oh, he's walking away from me. That sucks. And, it's kind of like, just because they're walking away right now doesn't mean they won't come back in 20 minutes, or something else might not come. You can't give up hope on one deer.
Right.
Or one travel of a deer, because he's going to move around and come if the time's right.
Yeah, that right there will help you for many years, kind of recognizing that, hey, he's in the area. He's going to go check this out. He's going to go check that out. He'll be right back. They're kind of in their own little area, and just kind of working around, maybe grabbing a bite, smelling this, smelling that.
Yeah. I mean, and even if he didn't come back, it could have been another deer that came back, and, you just can't give up on a hunt just because you're not seeing stuff right off the bat. Or,
right.
You see something go the wrong way.
Having a positive attitude is by far, I think, probably the common denominator I see with successful hunters, is just maintaining a positive attitude.
Yeah.
So many times. Do you remember what you were thinking about when that deer came in?
Nope.
Okay.
Not a clue.
A lot of times when guys kill deer, they tell me, I was just sitting there kind of counting my blessings, thinking about what a beautiful night it was, thinking about how happy I am to be able to be in the woods. And they're literally sitting there almost manifesting a deer, just thinking positive thoughts. You wouldn't believe how many times that happens.
Yeah.
Where, sure, you just killed a big buck. I'm sure you got a lot to be happy for, but these guys are talking about specifically, I was thinking about this, I was thinking about that, and it's all positive. And it's like, that's when they kill their deer. It's the wildest thing I've seen. I
couldn't have been more grateful for the chance to come to Illinois and hunt where I did. So it's, gratefulness, and, just being able to hunt there and see the difference in the land, and like sit there and look and like see all these hills where I would be hunting in the swamp at home, and, you can't see 30 feet really.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't trim, you're not seeing anything. So it's a cool experience to be down here and hunt.
Right. And now this year you're looking to go out and earn one.
Oh yeah.
Get after it. Not that you didn't earn the first one, but put in the work and do what needs to be done to.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
I mean,
What has this done for your Michigan hunting?
It's opened doors in Michigan, but at the same time, it's kind of cooled off Michigan because I'm not as stressed to go sit in the woods knowing that there aren't as big mature deer in Michigan.
Yeah.
It's kind of turned me off on Michigan, and like I just want to go down to Illinois now.
Right.
Like, get me out of here. Let me go down to Illinois and find big deer and kill them.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, we're going to take another break, hear a word from our sponsors, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to the WJBM Outdoor Show, brought to you by Midwest Tractor Sales in Jerseyville. We're coming to you from the WJBM studios in Jerseyville, the voice of the Tri-Counties. I'm Aaron Quillan. I operate Monarch Rivers, where the mission is simple: kill big deer. I also help buyers and sellers as a broker with Land and Home Real Estate. And for those just joining, Ethan Sharp, our guest, young man, somewhat new to hunting. I mean, you've been hunting for a while, but new to Illinois hunting.
Yep.
Kind of stepped it up a level when you came down here. First year, first day. Filled both your tags on a warm day. What have you ever had any, I guess, preconceived notions about temperature and deer hunting?
You know that cold fronts are good. You want to hunt the cold front, and I mean, you think about a big animal; they don't like the heat. No different than a bigger guy like me or you. Who gets sick of working in the heat real quick.
Yeah.
So I mean, I like sleeping in the cold. I like living in the cold for the most part.
Yeah.
And I would assume that the deer would move more in the cold. So.
Right.
If you have a day that it gets colder, I'm going to want to be more outside than if it's 95 degrees out too.
Right. And I mean, it was scorching during that time.
Yeah.
I mean, was it 80s, something like that?
It was 80, maybe mid to low 80s. I mean,
yeah.
Which
is hot.
I was wearing a long sleeve, like a paperweight long sleeve, but a long sleeve. The last layer I could put on, the only camo I had. So
Did harvesting that big buck during that type of temperature, that early in the season, did that change the way you think about, hunting at all?
I mean, I think it opened, doors in my head that you can go hunt deer on those hot days. They're not all going to be successful, but it's not impossible.
Right.
You got to kind of work with what you got.
Yeah.
I mean, if you got 5 days to come down and hunt and they're all hot, it's not the end of the world. You might still see deer, and there are opportunities. So,
yeah. I had you guys a boat captain up in Traverse City. We're going to fish with him here coming up. And when we were talking about him coming hunting last year, we were talking, originally we thought maybe October was best for his schedule. I just kind of said, we're pretty laid back in October. Somebody's really got to know what they're getting into coming October, because there's nothing worse than somebody coming here and complaining about how hot it is and the deer won't move. He said, I really like hunting in the heat. I don't think it affects the deer. And somehow, in the way that he said it to me, it was just over the phone in a conversation we were having, something clicked. And then all of a sudden, I kind of felt like, yeah, you're right. Because I've always had, decent luck getting on deer in warmer weather. I mean, sure, when it's November and 28 degrees outside, we're talking two different parts of the season, though. And with the confidence that he had when he was talking about that, it gave me a little bit more confidence. And I feel like last October, we were in the bucks better than we had been in a long time. And it just came from that little speck of him saying, yeah, well, I really don't mind the heat. And then all of a sudden I said, me too. And then I feel like it was just that positive attitude, maybe not the, desire to be as conservative or, kind of lay up, but more like, hey, the deer are going to be in there. Let's go in there right now after them. And I feel like on the acorns last year,
Yeah, I mean, it's not that the deer aren't there and they're not moving. It's just, you might have a little less time to catch them.
Right.
And, they're still going to move. They still got to eat. They're no different than us. They got to eat. They got to, the bucks are trying to still bulk up right before they go run for a month or two straight. Yeah. So they're moving. It's just about finding them.
Right. Right. With regard to, being put on that pressure, having that deer, having 2 deer, was there a lot of excitement on that doe?
I think there was, but at the same time there wasn't. I was almost upset with myself for not saving the doe tag so I could come back again.
Okay.
And then, but I figured it'd be best to just do the double whammy, so I did.
Absolutely.
And, make it one big trip.
That day goes down in history.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an epic day of hunting.
Yeah, I'll never forget it, that's for sure.
Talk to me about how you practice with your bow.
Just in the backyard, usually I'll start at 20, or if I've been practicing a lot, go out and start at 30 or 40 yards and sort of work to 50, sometimes 60, but not very often. I'll practice sitting down, I'll practice standing up, I'll practice leaning or doing whatnot, just, because you never know with hunting. You might have to be leaning out of that tree stand to kill that deer.
Right.
So I've definitely practiced and, done my fair share of research and looked up and see what other people are doing to find success and try to mimic it.
How many arrows you shooting on a typical day of practice?
60, maybe.
Okay.
Just 60.
That's a lot.
Is it a lot?
I mean, you're a big, strong young man. You lift weights. You work out a lot. What's your draw, like 70 pounds?
75.
75 pounds. So that's a lot of reps at 75 pounds. You probably don't feel it with your youth and your physique, fitness.
I'm healthy for now. We'll see how many shots I'm at this year. I've been a little bit more laid back on the gym, so.
Okay. Well, I like it, though. I mean, I like it. I think there's just a lot of strategies to target practice. I mean, sometimes, like, personally, I'll mix it up. I'll just go fire one shot. I'll tell myself, I got one shot and see how close I can get. And then other times, sit there and just drill them.
Yeah.
Shooting a bow's a lot like a golf swing. You golf ever?
I do golf.
Okay.
That's horrendous. My bow hunting is way better than my golf.
Okay. So golf's a great analogy for this because you're not supposed to think about anything in your backswing, but you're supposed to remember all these things that you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And so you have to teach your body muscle memory to, do exactly as you like. What are some of the things that you kind of mental checklist when you're shooting your bow?
I'll draw, kind of make sure I'm not death gripping the bow because that's a big no-no, and try not to do that. But just draw, kind of ease into it, and set the string into my cheek. Kind of just gently set it in there.
Okay.
That way I can feel it, and then sort of once I've got the string there, then I focus on moving the bow to where it needs to go.
Okay.
All as one. It's just how I kind of click through it.
Okay. And then are you shooting like a single pin or 3-pin setup?
I shoot a 5-pin setup.
Okay.
And I got 20, 30, 40, 50.
Okay.
My last pin I don't use, so It's just dropped all the way to the bottom for now. But
all right. So then once you're drawn back and you're comfortable, you're anchored in good at the cheek, how do you have a particular way that you place your pin on the deer?
I try to almost look through the pin, or not necessarily through it, but like I'll just try to focus on the deer.
Yeah.
And then, once I'm focused on the deer where I want it, I'm more focused on the pins become blurry almost.
Yeah.
And I'm just looking at that little dot and kind of placing it right over where I want to sink that arrow.
Okay. All right. So you're kind of point the dot on the deer, any means necessary, and then once you're there and settled.
Yeah, I mean, I'm aiming for a small spot, but I'm more focused on the deer than worrying about just looking at the pin, because I don't want to just look at the pin and lose focus on or think about too many things or whatever else.
Right.
So that's what I've had success with.
All right. But so it's we talk about golf and the backswing. A lot of times I'll come up just behind that front leg, and that will kind of keep me in a groove. So my pin's not like circling and wobbling back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
But as I'm coming up that back leg, if that deer takes a step forward, I'm not going to go back up that back leg. But I'm always trying to prevent that wobble or that pin from circling. And so I was just curious if you had any, strategies or techniques to where you did that.
No, I try to keep myself as calm as possible. I hadn't had the chance to shoot any big deer, and by the time I worked up to it, I was pretty calm and knew what I had to do.
Mm-hmm.
And there wasn't any of the shakes or wobble or, if I will or won't be able to shoot here, once he steps around that corner, I'm going to draw and he's going to fall.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. Because you wouldn't believe how many times, outfitting lots of guys coming in, similar situation to you where I've never, you've never seen a big Illinois deer until you've seen a big Illinois deer.
Yeah.
And then if he's in range, so many guys, they lose their composure.
Yeah.
So many times it's, it doesn't end up as clean of a situation as what you experienced.
I mean, maybe it was luck. I don't know. I think I'm a fairly stoic person, not very emotional or reactive to a lot of things. So it's sort of just natural to me to not get nervous or react like that.
Yeah, well, and I mean, you're a hard worker too. That's one of the first things Derek told me. Is he goes, "Yeah, Ethan, he's a good worker, hard worker." Blah. I asked you how many you shoot when you practice, and you're like 60. You're a hard worker, dude. So, just kind of painting that picture, and it's great to see that pay off.
Yeah. Trying to stay with it.
Yeah.
Stay.
All right, so as far as this upcoming season, you got a couple cameras out. You've been getting some good pictures?
Yeah, good pictures.
Okay.
Here and there, got bucks on camera and, a couple shooters, I think so. And
okay.
Just trying to keep them dialed in.
All right. Now, how did you come to decide on your camera placement this year? The way I understand it, you're in a newer area, first time putting the cameras out on this farm. What were some of the things that you evaluated to where you chose to put the cameras?
Definitely in the summer you're looking for food.
Yeah.
So something that is going to draw those deer, because other than food, there isn't a ton of draw.
Right. And,
so beans or clover or something standing that will draw them. And in my case, it was beans. And, on a sort of field edge of beans is where I'm at, where I'm getting the majority of my pictures of deer.
Okay. And then has it been pretty consistent from that location, or has it been hit and miss? Were there other times where one camera was outperforming the other?
The camera on the beans was definitely, I had one on the beans and then one sort of on the other side of the farm where there was less drag. There was corn in the area, but less drag.
Yeah.
And the beans definitely outperformed the corn.
Okay.
For now. I mean, I had bucks, almost a full bachelor group walking through almost every day. So,
okay. That's big time.
Yeah, definitely helps to see all those deer.
Okay. And then how are you evaluating the deer that you're seeing?
Looking at the antlers, obviously you look at the antlers and you get excited, but, body size, looking at the sway of the back, or, if they got definition of their muscle, or if they got a belly on them, if their legs get short, and usually an older deer, if they got short legs, or what appears to be short legs.
Right. And then how many bucks are in this bachelor group? About. I mean, you don't have to be exact.
8 on a random night, anywhere from 8 to 12.
Okay.
Mostly younger deer, but 2 or 3 or 4 mature ones.
Okay. And then are they all about the same age, the mature ones, or how do you?
At the moment, it's guesstimations. It's hard to really tell till you really see them up close, and I don't have a ton of up close pictures. I got pictures that I'm 20 yards away or so.
Right.
So cameras get a little bit blurry after 10 or so yards, and it's hard to always tell. It's just sort of guessing. I think with deer, you kind of have to guess. You don't really know for sure unless you have them aged. So
right. So let me ask this: when you're referring to mature bucks, what age would you kind of define a buck to be mature?
I think pushing after 3.5. You have those 3.5-year-olds that start to look pretty good, and then once they turn 4.5, they really start to blow up and look mature.
Yeah.
Like more of a mature deer animal, something that's worth your time.
Right. Okay. So out of that group, how many target deer do you have?
I think at the moment 2 or 3.
Okay.
I will see how I feel when I'm in the tree stand and I see something walk out, because I've only shot one other buck, but 2 or 3 at the moment.
Okay. Based off of the camera movement that you're seeing, are there any changes to like tree stands that you want to make, or do you kind of have everything dialed in the way you want it?
I think I like my tree stands because I know the beams are going to shut off at some point.
Yeah.
And, there's going to be different drags for those deer.
Okay.
Come season, and they might be working different ways, or might have to go, drive by and do a deer drive and glass it and see what's going on over there for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. That's between cameras and binoculars. I mean,
2 amazing tools.
Yes. Yeah. And then do you have any preferences with regard to type of camera, or how you're hanging the camera, whether it be height or exposure or trigger settings?
I like to get my trail cameras high, just sort of out of sight. That way, if the deer's looking, it's not something they see right away and it's sticking out in their face.
Okay.
If I didn't have the option of a tree, it'd probably be on a stake somewhere, and that would have to work. But
okay.
I like to get mine high. I just do pictures, the no glow pictures. I don't like the flash on it at all. But
yeah,
that's really all.
Okay. What brand of cameras do you like to run the best?
I run Tacticam.
Okay.
It's just worked for me so far, and I think in Illinois, I now have 2 or 3.
Yeah.
In Michigan, I have 2 more. So
okay.
I'm really starting to add to my collection.
Nice. The Tacticam seems to be a pretty popular brand.
Yep.
I got a bunch of friends that run them. Everybody seems to be pretty happy with them. So, with regard to your work weekend, this weekend, getting down, working on some stands and some more stuff. Do you have any expectations, anything that you're looking forward to the most?
Just being down here is exciting to me,
Yeah.
Working and getting worked,
Yeah.
Putting tree stands up, sweating.
Yeah.
Seeing properties and being able to see deer. I love doing deer drives. I hadn't experienced that till the last time I was down here, and
it's
all of a sudden I've been doing deer drives in Michigan and seen a bunch of does. So it'll be exciting to see real deer.
Yeah, it's something special down here in the summertime. Going and finding the bachelor groups.
Yeah, it was exciting. It was exciting when I was here in what was that, June, and they were dinky little racks, and now they should be almost fully grown deer. So I'm excited for that.
100%. Well, hey man, I appreciate the heck out of you coming in, letting me sucker you in here to pick your brain a little bit. Thanks for sharing a story on your epic first Illinois hunt. That's amazing. And really wish you luck this year.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a pleasure.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Appreciate it.